Dudes to Dads, brought to you by Dad University, is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we are back.
We are back.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads, episode 160. 160.
Yeah.
Alan, how are you doing?
I'm doing 160 times better now.
Nice and ready for tonight's episode?
Yes.
Well, I say today's, tonight's. I mean, it's night here.
It is night here. It could be daytime when you're listening to this, but it's nighttime.
It could be morning.
Right now. It could be morning.
Or would you say daytime is morning?
Sure.
It's late. That's why we're confused.
Yeah, we're a little delirious right now.
Some things. It was interesting. This topic came about, and I'll give some examples. But it came about in a discussion with my wife because we know we have understood this. Mm-hmm. This is something that we have understood, and we've gone through like some things for it. And what I'm talking about is the 5 love languages. Mm-hmm. And now this is, have you heard of this? Or
yeah, I'm vaguely familiar with it. I know we had a little quick discussion before we started recording, but it's like whether or not you react better to gifts or to signs of affection type of thing. Yeah,
we'll talk about the different types of love languages. So the author, Dr. Gary Chapman, this guy's been around for a while, very experienced in this area. You know, he's been pretty world renowned for this topic. This is a best-selling book, and there's all kinds of things have derived from it.
Yeah.
And so there's also love languages as it relates to couples, and I think they even do some things for singles and stuff. But then there's also for children. So, but here I'm primarily talking about love languages of significant others, but it does apply to children as well, and we'll maybe touch on that.
Yeah.
The main concept is that the 5 love languages have to do with how we prefer to receive love.
Yes.
It also, there's some things about how we like to give love as well. And just because you like to receive one way doesn't mean that you give the same way. Per se.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is first go over the 5 love languages, and then I'll discuss a little bit why I think this is important and such.
Great.
So the first one is words of affirmation.
Yes.
So this means that or somebody else would use words to affirm some sort of concept or their feelings or what. In its simplicity, it could be somebody saying like, I love you.
Sure.
Or when somebody tells you how wonderful you are. Either way, it really resonates with you when they say this. And so what you'll find is I'm going to go over these. Everybody has a primary and or secondary love language, or usually one or two that they are the strongest in.
Sure.
So if words of affirmation is one of your strongest, then when somebody says like, I love you, that really means a lot to you.
Right.
Like you really, like you feel something, you can get emotion from it, to do that. For others, it may not mean very much, and I can give you the example. Like for me, those words aren't that powerful. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not that I don't like somebody saying it.
Right.
But for me, I kind of have I have to see it to believe it.
Right,
like words aren't as strong for me personally.
Sure.
As like action or somebody doing something or whatever. So that's just, and I think as we're going through this, people might be able to evaluate themselves and say, oh, that does make sense for me, or no, I don't see that at all.
Yeah.
How about for you? Are words of affirmation, is that something that is important to you?
It is. I probably will have to hear all of them because I think that I don't know which one I react to most, but I will say words do to some degree. I believe someone when they say certain things to me. So I guess that's where I'm coming from. That maybe I'm not as cynical as you are. And that's kind of surprising actually, because I am pretty a cynical guy. But if someone gives me that affirmation through words, then
it's interesting as I'm sitting here evaluating it. For me, I guess part of it, and I just thought this is thinking on the fly, is that words seem to me so easy That's because they're easy for me.
Right.
So for some people, I mean, to say the words "I love you" or to say something is extremely difficult. See, for me, words are very. I mean, I talk. I'm very verbal. I communicate well.
Yeah.
So words aren't that big of a deal in that sense. It's not very difficult for me. So, like, oh yeah, so what? You said I love you. Like, that's just
now
words.
What?
Like, yeah,
what
that's
have
just,
you done for me lately?
Yeah. So I think that might be kind of the the psychology of it a little bit.
That's a good self-psychoanalysis.
Very quickly. I don't know how. This is on the fly.
On the fly, live.
Even though I know, even though we record it, we still come up with original things right on the fly.
Very little editing.
And I didn't even have that written down. The next is acts of service. So people with this love language strength really feel something when somebody does something for them. So this one, as an example, is really big with my wife. So acts of service for her are very big. I'll give you an example, and that was what made me think of this is she often will make an omelet. Like she just makes an omelet and she's been making it the night before so that she can have it in the morning and not have to prep it in the morning. So this was just a couple nights ago. I was downstairs. We have our kitchen downstairs and our kids' rooms and ours are upstairs. And I saw the ingredients out and, she was going to make it or whatever, but she was upstairs. She went upstairs with the kids. So I saw the ingredients and I was just like, oh, you know what? I'll make it. I know that she'll I'm sure she would appreciate that, whatever, just because of time and it was getting late or whatever. So I made the omelet for her. I then went upstairs and, she was like, after the kids were put down and we said goodnight and everything, put down, it's like they're babies. We said goodnight.
Right. I was going to comment on it, but I decided not to.
We put them down.
Yes. It's like, kids.
Yeah. She said, oh, shoot, I need to make my omelet. Yeah. And so she walked downstairs and then I heard her, oh my, she got really surprised.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't believe you did that.
That's
and
awesome.
So, she expressed so much gratitude for that. And so for her, that was just, it wasn't that big of a deal for me, but I realized I know that acts of service are so important for her.
Yeah.
And so that kind of thing, was a very nice gesture in her mind. Like she made a big deal about it because for her, she's like, wow, I can't believe you did that. That was so nice. Like it's a lot of points, versus some other things are like, okay, great.
Yeah. Thanks. I get it.
Yeah. So where I'm going with all this is when you know your spouse's love language, there's a lot of value in that.
Absolutely.
So that's the whole point of this whole thing.
Sure.
The next one, so that was acts of service. This next one is receiving gifts.
Yes.
So these are people who simply like presents. They love being showered with gifts. And when you give them a gift, they attach a lot of meaning to that.
Yeah.
Me personally, gifts are okay.
Yeah.
Not really. And my wife as well. When we have holiday, birthday things, for her, something small is totally fine. If me going out and getting huge gifts and making this big deal, that's not her love language.
Yeah.
So, in comparison to acts of service, it's not like, she's not going to enjoy it or like it,
sure.
but
by contrast.
Yeah. Like if I was going to get a gift, it'd probably be better if I went and I did something or I washing her car would be more valuable than getting her something.
Yeah. 5 omelets a month.
Totally. Like a coupon for
5 omelets a month. No, I get it too.
That's not a bad idea.
Hey, your birthday might be coming up. I'm the same way. I don't really respond to gifts at all. Matter of fact, I made a thing about myself after I didn't like feeling obligated to give gifts. Yeah. So I just stopped giving them and I stopped asking for them. And so to be fair, I was like, I don't want a gift either, but I'm not going to get you one.
But what's interesting is that you say that, but you don't, if the person's love language is gifts.
Yeah. Well, if it is, then I'll make an effort to do that.
Change that.
I got to step up my game when it comes to their love language, but mine, I'm like, I don't need all that.
So what do you think
I feel like
your girlfriend's...
I've dated people in the past, that was their main love language. So I think lately I don't think I've gone that direction, but I think for the in the past that was kind of the thing that I think I mentioned when
guys often think that gifts are and there's plenty of women who don't care.
To me, it's kind of the easy thing. It's almost like flowers or chocolates or whatever it is. And I think I told you this. So someone that I used to date said, hey, Yeah, I like it when people bring a gift when they come to the house, like every time, like, all right. But it didn't have to be anything big. It's just it could be a piece of chocolate.
That's a lot of obligation.
But yeah, and I know. But I didn't mind doing it because again, it was her love language. So I'm like, well, okay, every time I'll pick up something from the corner store or whatever it is, 7-Eleven, and just grab a piece of chocolate, whatever it is. I thought about it sometimes a little more frequently than others. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, anyone with me, this includes friends, family, you don't have to give me anything.
Right.
I'd rather just hang out.
Yep.
And
there you go. That's the next one.
There we go.
Quality time.
There you go. Segue master.
Yeah, segue master without even knowing it. For these people, spending time with others is crucial, but also the time needs to be good. It needs to be full of quality, and they may be able to evaluate that. For example, if somebody is on their phone while you're talking with them or while they're with you, that may not be quality time.
Right.
And I can tell you, I'm giving that example because quality time is one of mine.
Yes.
So quality time, if somebody is with me and we're supposed to be doing something or whatever, and they're on their phone, I take that personally and feel like it's rude.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And so that's just because that's my love language.
Yeah.
The quality time, and I judge it based on that. So I have to back off sometimes.
Yeah.
So I mean, this, like I said, this is definitely one of mine, the quality time. And I think people who often say, oh, I want to do this, or I want to spend time with you on this, like that's quality time. That's the idea that they want to spend more time with you is because their love language is quality time.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing that, guys, that your wife is wanting to spend more time, your wife or girlfriend is wanting to spend more time with you, that is probably a good indication that her love language is quality time.
Yeah.
So you can maybe reduce the amount of gifts that you get and just spend more time with her.
Yeah. Right. Save money.
Right.
Yeah. I'm a big on the quality time too. I think that goes for friendships, relationships, wherever, and I tend to compartmentalize my friends. So a lot of my friends don't always get together and hang out together. Like I have friends that grab all their friends in a big group and then everybody's there and we all hang out. And I know everybody. But for me, I like it when I'm just kind of hanging out one-on-one.
Different sets of friends.
Yeah, different sets of friends. And not that they couldn't get along. It's just that I kind of want to give my undivided attention to one or two other people.
Right.
And so, and vice versa. I kind of want them to give their attention to me in that context. And I know it's a self-serving thing too.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And it's, there's nothing wrong with it, but I realize that I spread myself a little thin because I'm trying to compartmentalize and meet with all the people that I care about individually, which is fine. But then,
versus, hey, I'm going to be here Friday night.
Yeah,
everybody show up if you want.
Let's go get some shots together. Like everybody meet me at this bar. And that, once in a while, that's fun. But I think for the most part, I'm realizing that as we're talking about it, that I tend to,
and that's a good thing. Like that you realize that because you can communicate that to those around you,
right?
And they can understand that
exactly. Yeah.
So that's cool. And then the last one, physical touch. So hugs, kisses, affection, are really important with this love language.
Yeah.
You feel loved by physical touch.
Yeah.
So I can tell you. So my two, I'm pretty equal in that is quality time and physical touch. Those are the two for me that I've taken this test and I know. So, and my wife's is acts of service and physical touch. So we match there on that. But it's interesting because, for her, the quality time or receiving gifts or that's not as important. So you have to sort of, it's important to focus on what's working.
Sure.
This is one of those things where don't worry about the stuff that doesn't need to be focused on.
Yeah.
You could really focus on what works. So in now hearing these, what would you think is your primary? Or if you have more, than one?
Yeah, no, I think probably
time.
Same as yours, quality touch.
Quality touch.
Physical time.
Physical time. No, I think the quality time, and I emphasize quality over quantity.
Correct.
Because I'm not a big fan of just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Right.
But I do want to spend time together and enjoying each other's company.
Yep.
And then physical touch is probably big on my list too. I do like the affection. I like to give it, and I like to receive it.
So act of service as an example doesn't if your girlfriend went out and washed her car for you, got your car washed.
Cool, but
no, it
whatever.
Okay.
I'm again, none of them are bad,
right.
But I don't think anyone gives me a gift. And
versus if I did that for my wife, it's like, oh my, I can't believe you did that. That's so great. she appreciates that kind of stuff so much.
Right.
It's just interesting how different people react.
No, they do. Yeah, it is interesting. I'll think about that because I think even historically, like, how did I react?
Well, you and your lady can take the quiz.
Yeah,
and
right. Yeah, exactly.
That's how
I'll take the quiz. And it's like sometimes you evolve from certain things. Maybe as you get older, or if you have a different type of relationship, you might have a different language.
Yeah, I think you can. You can be different in different relationships, for sure. So there is a free quiz on this. You can go to 5 lovelanguages.com and you can take a quiz, and you and your significant other can take a quiz and get it emailed to you, and it shows you what your love languages are based on the answers to some questions.
Cool.
And you can also do it for your child. So children have their own love languages how they like to respond or how they feel stuff about love, which I think is really cool too, because you can have 2 completely different children, easily. And they're all going to respond differently. So
sure.
I think the purpose in all of this and just sharing this, I mean, one, it's been very valuable to me in my relationship of understanding, my wife's love language, but it's also just to maximize your efficiency of effort. As men, I'll stereotype and generalize. We have a tendency sometimes to not make as much effort as we should. That just happens. And so when you can learn what somebody's love language is like you don't have to waste effort on the stuff that isn't as important.
Right.
And that's such valuable information to know that, like, wow, you know what? Me doing this isn't going to make as much impact that if I did that.
Right.
And
then sometimes that is easier.
Yeah.
It's like that's maybe you should be doing that because
and sometimes it's harder for people.
It is, and that's the weird part. Like you said about the words. Like for some people, it's really difficult. For you, it's very easy to say, "Hey, I love you.
Right.
I think this is great." And other people, it's like,
right. And so, like even where you had mentioned about the gifts, because you made that decision for yourself. But unfortunately, if you're with somebody who really loves gifts, you've just screwed them.
Right. Well, but again, exactly. And I also screwed them out of the fun that they may have giving a gift. Yeah. And I'm like, well, too bad. You got to learn my love language.
Yeah.
Take the quiz.
Right. So you have to figure that out because they may love, I mean, I know people like that just love giving gifts.
Yeah.
Like it's their thing.
Yeah.
They just, every time you see them, they've got something. They love to give you. And it's like, that's their way of expressing love, and it's just funny because that's like, okay, great.
Yeah,
thanks,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
and you got to appreciate it. And I mean, I appreciate anything anyone does for me, but at the same time.
Yeah. So you just, the moral, I guess of this is just put more focus on the languages that do matter.
Right.
And this goes for kids as well. So you can take the test for your kids as well to understand their love languages, and I think just overall, it's a really valuable tool for any kind of relationship, any interaction between 2 people. For you to know yours and then be able to communicate that.
Yeah.
And then to know the person that you're with as well.
Right.
So I think it's interesting. Yeah. If anybody has any comments, feedback, suggestions, praise.
Okay.
Yeah, we like that.
Languages.
What should they do, Alan?
They should email us, podcast@dudesToDads.com, or get in touch with us on social media, Twitter @DudesToDads, Facebook DudesToDads.com, YouTube DudesToDads, and Dad University, really. A lot of great stuff on there. Please go to iTunes and Stitcher and any variety of other places you see our podcast. Leave us 5-star review and subscribe to those channels. 6 stars. Get a star, 5 stars plus 1.
An extra star.
You get an extra star for leaving 5 stars. We'll give you a star back. You get a refund on stars. That's what's also cool. You give us 5 stars, we'll give you a star back.
Ooh, that's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Money back guarantee, or a star back guarantee.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah, more stars for your buck. And please subscribe and leave comments if you can. It perpetuates the show. We really appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, as always, Alan, thank you. I want to see that you're going to go do the test.
Yeah,
5lovelanguages.com, and I want you to report back so that I know exactly what your love language is.
Okay. Then I'll tell everyone on the show, and they can shower me with gifts.
There you go. Or acts of service, or physical
words
touch might be a little inappropriate here.
Especially over the internet.
Why are you holding Alan's hand, Jason?
That's what he likes.
Anyways, with that, we will see you next time.
See you next time.